What else?
It's good.
Okay.
Oh. Is that what it's called? Is it the house across the lake or the house on the other side of the lake? It's the house across the lake.
I think it's over at the house of the across the lake.
No, that's not a thing.
Over the house.
No.
And through the woods. From the Midwest, I think. Hold on, just want to get that right.
Now they decide to mow.
That's really a time that's going through kind of some kind of wait, let me do that again.
Okay, so I'm gonna, okay, how do I start this? Okay, I picked up a quart of thorn.
A thorn of quartz.
A thorn of quartz, and gets done with things. Hello, welcome back. It's June. Happy Pride Month. Well, welcome back to our channel. We are Self-Possessed. I'm Craig.
And I'm David.
And as a review, if you don't know, we are a gay couple in the Midwest who loves all things books, reading books, buying books, talking about books, grading books. So we're so happy that you're here. We're so happy that we made it to June because June is not only Pride Month. You know what else June is?
Summer.
It is summer, that is true.
Was it not what you were looking for?
No. It's our anniversary.
Oh, it's our 1 year anniversary.
June is our 1 year booktube anniversary. Yeah, it's not, by the time this video comes out, our anniversary is still a few weeks away, officially, from when we uploaded our first video. But June is our 1 year booktube anniversary. So we've been doing this for 1 year. Can you believe it?
Feels like 18.
We're super grateful for everyone who is subscribed, that is here for the journey. As a more sentimental, personal note, like when we talked about doing this, like I think we had expectations for what our channel would become or would be, and I think it's kind of shifted out of some of those expectations a little bit. And our growth isn't as much as we had anticipated it would be, but we are grateful that for everyone who has joined us and talks to us and reaches out and comments and follows us on Instagram and DMs us. We're so grateful for all those people, and we're grateful for the steady growth that we've had over the year. So thank you for being part of that.
But I'm having fun. We're having fun doing this, and we're enjoying it.
It's really keeping us accountable too for our reading.
Keeping us accountable.
But thank you for being part of the journey and for continuing with us. We hope that you have enjoyed what we put out. And if you'd like to see something different or you want to see something new from us, put it in the comments down below and let us know what that is so we can kind of take stock of what our subscribers would like to see from us, and then put that next to what we think we want to do so we can kind of combine those two things together. We'd love to do more of that. So
I also like how this channel is also influencing other people as well, to not just kind of, because we all kind of, I get bored by the star ratings as well, but so I think with this kind of grading in this report card, it just expands, it makes it a little bit more nuanced when we're critiquing and looking at or reading books as well. So I think we kind of just went a little bit deeper.
And I think that's what we want to see, right? We want to see people kind of talking about books in a way that's going to give you more insight onto what they think of the books. And I think the thing that the channel has taught us more than anything else is the subjectivity of a grade card or a grade, because what I feel like and what he feels like are going to be very, very different for books. So it's helped us really understand that and I think value that a lot more too, which has been great. So for the reason that we're here today, we are here to share our June TBR with you, our Pride Month TBR. And kind of show you what we're thinking about reading. And we are both being extra ambitious this month.
I got 5, but I might throw in a few more. that I have on deck.
And I think you have you might have the 6th or 7th one. I have 8 right now, including one that isn't out yet. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So 6.
Well, 2. Actually, I have 9 because 2 that aren't out yet.
Oh, great.
So we're going to kind of share what we are anticipating we'll read this month. And as you know, it is summer for both of us. So we are being a little bit more ambitious with our reading in the summertime because we can read more and we do have a little bit more free time to do so. So that's why you're going to see so many books. We don't guarantee that all of these will obviously make it onto the final wrap up, but this is what we would like to read for the month of June. So did you have any prompts or anything that you were thinking about that you wanted to like think about for June?
There was one, because I'm not a fantasy type of reader.
Neither am I,
so
which you're going to see soon.
So I think the first book that I kind of am going to start with, it's in that genre space. So yeah. So we're gonna see how I feel about that.
And mine run the gamut. I have mostly new books and one reread, so we'll see.
Nice.
All right, so my first book you saw in our recent book haul. It's a book that came out this year, in January of this year. It is a queer, non-binary romance book set in the cooking world, and that is Anita Kelly's Love and Other Disasters. This and 2 others might be my only like queer reads for Pride Month. When we had talked about our TBRs, last year we did strictly gay stuff for our Pride Month TBR, and while that was fun, I don't remember that one being super successful. Like I don't remember that I got through those books as quickly as I wanted to, or was as interested as I wanted to be in those books. So I kind of spread mine out. That's why I said earlier I have all genres in here. But this one I saw this one when we went book shopping, and it looked really good, and so I'm excited to read it because it's kind of out of my comfort zone a little bit. But it is queer. Yay. So that's my first one.
So I have never read this author before, and so I decided just to dive into his work. That is Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere. Have you read Neil Gaiman before?
Yes.
What have you read of it?
Sandman.
The comic book?
The graphic novel.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I just decided to start at the very, very top. Okay, did you like that?
Yes.
I think this is his first book. So I'm excited to dive in there, and his whole physical aesthetic is what I like. It's what I want to wear every day.
Also, I read Coraline.
Oh yeah.
So
I don't think I've ever seen that.
We should watch Coraline. Terry Hatcher plays the evil mother.
Ooh.
Yeah. My next is a reread, but also something that's vaguely queer, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She has a new book coming out this summer called Carrie Soto is Back, which I was excited to read, and then it's about a tennis star, so I was like, maybe I'm less excited, so let me read something else of hers that I really liked. So I'm going to reread 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is also has some queer content related to it, but I'm just really excited to kind of dive back in. It's been a few years since I've read this. I'm excited to kind of go back and reread this one again.
Was I the only one that liked Malibu Rising?
I didn't read it.
Okay.
The only other Taylor Jenkins read I've read is Daisy Jones and the Six. So I have the audio for Malibu Rising, and we saw it when we went to Half Price Books, and I almost got it, but
I really enjoyed it, but there was a lot of people that just didn't like it. But
yeah, well, I think people love this book, like love it. Yeah, and I think other ones have been less loved, but the Daisy Jones and the Six series is supposed to come out soon too, so I'm excited for that. And I think that this is also a series. This is also becoming a series too. So I think
read the book first.
Yeah.
I don't know how we missed this book. I think this was both on both of our lists for a while of things to read, and this is Kieran Millwood Hargrave's The Mercies. So men on this island kind of go, it's like a fisherman's island, I guess. They're going to go and get some fish.
Like you do on a fisherman's island, you know.
And they end up getting wiped out, and the women are left alone. They start to kind of take care of themselves and kind of build their own little utopia, I guess. And then a man comes back in and fucks it all up. So there's that. So I'm excited to read that. I got this at the library yesterday. Yesterday. So I forgot that this was on our list for a very long time, and then somehow it got taken off. But so I'm excited to read that. A lot of kind of almost. Well, I guess this isn't too much Greek.
It's Greek-ish. It's inspired.
Okay.
My next one you've seen on our channel before because this one read it last month, and I mentioned to you in our wrap-up that I was going to read it, and that is The Island by Adrienne McKenty. So everyone has been talking about this. Everyone who I follow, at least on BookTube and Bookstagram, has loved it, including this one. So I'm excited to read it as well. And that is going to be my, after I finish one I'm at right now, I'm going to do this one. So I'm excited to read it because I haven't read any Adrienne McKenty yet, and everyone's kind of said this book is great. So
I'm not going to talk too much about this book because this is going to be in my vlog for this week, and that is R.B. Mertz's Burning Butch, a memoir. So I'm going to be talking more about that in my vlog, but I wanted to put this at the top of the list for this month. This was also gifted to us by Unnamed Press, so thank you.
Thank you.
Press. Yeah.
My next one, you saw in the wrap-up that I read Breathless by Amy McCulloch, which was a wintry set, kind of isolated mountain climbing thriller. When we were at Half Price Books, you saw this in our book haul. It's Shiver by Ali Reynolds. It's, started as a reunion, it ended with murder. To be completely fair, I've already started this, and I don't quite yet know how I feel about it, but it is these friends who are invited back to this French chalet where they had previously been 10 years ago for a snowboarding competition, and someone has died, and they have all been brought back to this chalet on mysterious circumstances, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. This book does drop you right into it, so I'm interested to see where it goes, but I've heard good things about this book, so I'm excited, and she's got a new one coming out this summer, which is about a surfing competition, I think, or something. So the other day I went, I was doing some babysitting for my family, and I went book shopping, inadvertently spent more money than I wanted to, which is always what happens. But I went to Barnes & Noble, and they were having buy one, get one half off sale for a lot of books, and a lot of books that I particularly was interested in reading. So I just picked up some that I thought, I will have these, and if I get through other things, I'll throw these next two on my TBR and see how I feel about it because I have the time. So I saw this one online. Something is happening within the romance world that is obsessed with witchcraft now. There's all of these witchy romances coming out, and I've read 2 of them. You saw that in our past videos. And so I saw Jessica Clare's Go Hex Yourself with these punny witch titles, and I was like, well, that sounds really interesting to me. It is, yeah. It just sounds really, really good. It's essentially about these 2 people who meet, and it says Reggie Johnson answers an ad in the paper, astonished to find that she's not applying for work at her favorite card game. Instead, she's applying to be an actual familiar for an actual witch, as in real magic. So it's kind of a enemies to lovers, I think, kind of style romance, but all involving witches. The cover is beautiful. I love it just looks silly and fun, so that's why I picked it up.
We love witches in this house.
We do.
Which leads me to Genevieve Gornichek's The Witch's Heart, which I have started, and I'm really, really kind of in love with this right now, which I wasn't really so much a kind of Greek mythology type of person or reader, and now I'm just kind of just diving right into it and just really, really enjoying it. It's the witch, her name is Angerboda. I've butchered that name so badly. But Odin has taken away her heart and kind of banished her away. She kind of falls in love with Loki, who is his brother. And that's where I'm at right now. But it's a really, really interesting read, especially for someone who was not so much into mythology growing up. I'm kind of diving headfirst into it, but it's really, really interesting, really, really romantic. I think you would like this book.
Speaking of witches again, the next one I bought when I was at Barnes & Noble was Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. This was on Barnes & Noble's favorite for the month, and so I was looking at it online, and I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. And anytime you say a book is the craft meets something else, I was like, okay. So I think it was like The Craft meets The Kingsman or something like that, or I can't remember, but it is essentially about government organization that was set up by Queen Elizabeth I, that is witches and warlocks, and they have had severely diminishing powers as the years have gone on and have kind of spread out, and then something comes in to threaten the Her Majesty's Royal Coven, and they have to kind of come back together to fight that. So I'll be curious. I think this might be the beginning of a series, but I'm not 100% certain. But it looked really good, and I was really, really interested in it. So I have one more. I have two more, and we have one that we're going to share. So the next one that I'm going to put on my TBR, potentially for June, but we'll see, is Tracy Flick Can't Win, which I'll put up a graphic of it here. It is the sequel to Election, a book and a movie that we both love. And so I'm excited to see the continuation of the story. She is I believe an assistant principal, right, at a high school. And there's a potential for a promotion, and so her Tracy Flickness probably comes into that, I would imagine. And she's also a mom now, so I'll be kind of curious what that looks like. And I think you want to read it at some point too, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a character in literature that I really connected to when I was growing up.
Tracy Flick. That's you now.
That says a lot.
So the next book that are you going to read it this month? Okay, so the next book hasn't come out yet. We don't have a physical copy of it, but that is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. As you've seen before, we both really enjoy Riley Sager as a writer, and the worlds and the books that he's created, so we're both really excited for this one. I don't really know that much about it. I know that people have somehow compared it to Woman in the Window, but better. Which is interesting to me. So I'm excited to read that as well. But that doesn't come out to the end of the month, so
yeah,
we'll see.
You better hurry up. You better read it in a day.
You can read it first. I have all these other books to read. So
my last book for the month is Tom Spanbauer's In the City of Shy Hunters. A young man from I think it's from the Midwest. He moves to New York City in the 80s. He is struggling with his sexuality, and there he kind of meets this kind of group of drag queens and other queer people. His world is kind of opening up during this time of political strife and the rise of AIDS. I wanted to read something really, not heavy, but really kind of poignant and timely, especially now during this month. How do you even segue into?
I don't know. So I put up on my Instagram stories the other day if I should read this book, because this is a book series that literally everyone has read, talked about, and every time I see it, I'm like, well, that's not my speed. That's not my style. I don't have any desire to read it. Well, for some reason, these last week and a half, something has been I've seen it and I'm like, well, maybe I should just try it. Maybe I should see what all the hype is about. Maybe I should see if it lives up to all of that hype. And I was like, I'm not a fantasy reader, typically. I've had my fair share of problems with romance in the past. But I decided, you know what? I'll just do it. I'll just go for it. So when I was at Barnes & Noble the other day, I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. A book that everyone has read and everyone has talked about and had their opinion on. And I am about 7 years behind, because this book came out in 2015.
I had a student say that she would start watching this channel if we reviewed a Sarah J. Maas book. So...
Well, and I debated, because everyone has been talking about Crescent City, which is her newest series. And I was like, well, do I start with that one or do I start with this one? And then when I read the descriptions, I was like, well, this one sounds more interesting, at least in a little bit. And I love the covers of these books. I think the covers are really beautiful. And when I read the description, I was like, okay, magical fairy creatures, humans existing, and then there's 5 books. And I was like, so the worst that could happen is that I fall in love with it and then I want to read more. And that's not the worst. The best that could happen is that I fall in love with it and I want to read more. The worst is that I just don't like this book.
That you fall in love with it and you read more.
Or that could be the worst too, I guess, But I have started this. I started the day I bought it, and I'm about a fourth of the way through, and I actually really like it so far. I can see that I could have some issues with it as it goes, especially if what I've been hearing is true. But I like it. Right now I do like it a lot. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I've never read Sarah J. Maas before. I've never read anything in this style. I'll be curious where this goes, but I'm excited. So look forward to hearing me talk about a book that's 7 years old that everyone else has already weighed in on. Wow. So here we go. So that is it. That is our June TBR, our very, very ambitious June TBR. I mean, here's my stack.
Mine's a little bit bigger this month.
Yeah, but so this is what you may not see if you you don't see this because you're not, in our lives on a daily basis. But David, yeah. What you don't know is that David does read very, very fast and gets done with things very quickly as well. And then we'll just start picking up random books and just adding them to his TBR. Some of them he talks about, some of them he doesn't. So I'm curious when he gets through these, what else he'll add, or if he'll just pick up random stuff. But who knows? I'm excited about these books. There's not one on here that I'm like, oh, I have to read this for work. I'm excited to read all of these. So
yeah, I don't feel pressure,
Yeah, I don't either.
to get these done at the end of the month. So
Yeah.
I think picked a lot of books that I think I'm gonna actually sit and enjoy, as opposed to other books which I just feel like I have to get through.
Yeah.
So.
I overpicked for that reason. I overpicked books because I was like, you know what? We'll see where I am halfway through the month. We are 4 days into the month at this point. So, and I've already started 2 of these books, which I think is better than not starting anything. Yeah. So, yeah. And this week I'm really going to focus on getting at least 3 or 4 of these done in a week. I also may be vlogging my experience with this book. Those are our June TBRs. What do you think of them? Tell us below in the comments what you're thinking about our books and our choices. And do you have thoughts on these books? Have you read them? Do you have advice for us? So yeah, comment below and let us know what you think. Let us know kind of what you want us to do next. If there's any books that you I need these guys to read these books because I want to hear them talk about it, put that down below as well. And you can visit us on many other places on the internet. Well, not many. A few. One of them being our Instagram.
At @shelf_possessed.
Check out our affiliate links in the description box below. Follow us on Goodreads and on Storygraph and see what we are up to. So we are Self-Possessed.
I am David.
And I'm Craig. Thank you for coming, and we will see you in the next one.